My AI just changed. It just buzzed the front gate. Thank God you came. How many more days could I wait? I made plans with you, and I won't let them fall through. I think I lie for you.
All right, y'all. Welcome in. Anybody coming in, catching up, welcome in. We're going to talk about this case. This is crime today. And we're going to talk about about the 12-year-old who was missing in New Britain and we're going to talk about her name, the auntie, the mother, and the boyfriend are now charged. This young lady here, 12 years old, went missing. This is her mother, and she did not report this girl missing since of last year. Let's get into it. I'm gonna read it to y'all, and I'm gonna read who it is, and we're gonna talk about it. So they call her Mimi. She's from Connecticut. They believe that she was passed on. She lives in, I think, Turing or Britain, Connecticut, somewhere like that. Was deceased for a year before her body was found in a plastic container last week. She was never reported missing and is questioning and raising eyebrows how she could be deceased for that long without anyone noticing. So, according to the police, Jacqueline Torres was unalived in Farmington last fall. Her body was kept in a plastic container for a year after being dumped behind an abandoned home on Clark Street in New Britain. Police were alerted to the body's location through an anonymous tip. Police believed her body was secretly kept in the family basement in Farmington and moved when her family relocated to North Britain. Jacqueline's mother, aunt, and boyfriend are all facing charges in her unaliving. All three faced the judge yesterday. Jacqueline's mother, Carla Garcia, and her boyfriend, Jonathan Natita, have been charged with murder. Both are also charged with first degree unlawful restraint, risk of injury to a child. And I'm gonna show y'all the picture of them. Jacqueline's mother, okay, sorry. Recent resistant restraint, risk of injury to a child, tampering with physical evidence, conspiracy to commit murder with special circumstances, initially cruelty to a child, and improper disposal of a body. And let me show y'all, because I just showed y'all the picture of what the mama looked like. In case y'all watch the replay, this is the mother. This is the mother, this is the boyfriend. You can tell he was fighting with the police. Okay. Police said they believe Jacqueline suffered prolonged abuse and malnourishment before her being deceased. The case raised questions from lawmakers and advocates about how a child could be found unalive for a year without anyone reporting her missing. Jacqueline's father, Victor Torres, told WFSB last week that he did not have custody of Jacqueline and has been living out of state. Jacqueline was in New Britain school system from kindergarten to fifth grade. On what would have been the first day of sixth grade last August, Carla Garcia pulled her out of the school system. Her mother told school officials they had to move to Farmington and were planning on homeschooling Jacqueline. The Connecticut Office of Child Advocates said the state must address the issue of homeschooling on site oversight. On issues of homeschooling, we know from previous investigations that some parents use Connecticut's complete lack of oversight of ugh, oversight of homeschool children to withdraw their children from school, isolate them, shield themselves from reports to our child welfare agency, neglect or abuse the children. There's a known policy issue that the state must address. Okay, so basically, they're being held on a. Carla is on in her sister or bond bill is set at 5 million. The Sorry, he got a girl name. Carla and Anita had their bond set at 5 million. Jacqueline bond was set at 1 million. The arrest warrants for Garcia sisters and Nanita were sealed by a judge for 14 days. The documents will have more details on what unfolded in the case over the last year. So they're going to release the documents in to where people can go look at them and show what happened. Let I'm going to play um a report. It's not much on this, so this live is not going to be long, and I'm going to play this. And then I'll be back. Then we'll talk some more.
Charged in connection to the death of a 12-year-old girl appearing before a judge in New Britain.
Police recently found the remains of Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia in a plastic container outside of an abandoned building. Among the suspects in that case, the girl's mother and aunt.
News 8's Brittany Taylor joining us live now in New Britain with the latest from the courthouse and how community is honoring the life of this little girl. Brittany, good morning. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Lauren, Keith. Yeah, this is such a heartbreaking story. We're here on Clark Street in New Britain, just outside of the home where the remains of 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia, otherwise known as Mimi, were discovered inside of a plastic storage container. And as you can see behind me, there's been a huge outpouring of support. This is one of the biggest memorials that I've ever seen in my time here. You can see that it's growing day by day. Lots of balloons, lots of candles, teddy bears. Truly a very somber sight here on Clark Street. Now, I want to take you back to court yesterday in Torrington. This is where we saw an outburst of anger and frustration. Take a listen.
Get out of here. Get out of the courtroom. Leave the courtroom. Leave the courtroom now.
Yeah, a lot of commotion there. Supporters packing the court gallery, quick to make comments about the accused despite warnings from the judge. The little girl's mother, Carla Garcia, has been charged with murder and cruelty. Garcia's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita, also facing murder charges. And Mimi's aunt, Jacqueline Garcia, charged with cruelty. The cause of the girl's death has yet to be determined. Now, all three of those suspects do have prior criminal convictions. Jacqueline Garcia, the aunt, was on parole for risk of injury to a minor, with the victim being an infant. Court documents show that torture was involved in that crime. News 8 spoke to one of her neighbors. Take a listen.
Knew there was a baby there, and like we would see her carry the car seat, and that was pretty much it. And the baby wasn't here long. There was a couple of nights where her and her boyfriend were laying in bed, and our bedroom's right above theirs, and they were just sobbing, why me, and that kind of stuff. And I thought the baby died.
All three suspects are currently being held on bond, and they're scheduled to appear in court next on November 14th. And this Friday, the Jeep community, I should say, will be holding a peaceful memorial ride in honor of Mimi. That's going to be taking place here in New Britain at 220 East Main Street at 5 p.m. Live in New Britain this morning, Brittany Taylor, News 8.
All right, y'all. So I'll be back with more of that, and I'm also going to talk about the little girl. I'm trying to get more information on that. That the 5-year-old, I'll talk about her Friday as well, or Saturday, and I'm gonna try to get more information on that too. So that is what happened to this young girl. I will be back with more crime. I'm gonna keep the crime series going. From now on, we're gonna push it through. It's not much, but it's sad to see parents that pull their kids out and then they don't homeschool them. They get frustrated and then they go missing, and it's very sad to see. And it's very alarming, and I believe that's why people are not agreeing to the fact, certain. And I understand y'all pro-life. I'm pro-life too. Don't get me wrong, but let's be clear. This shouldn't happen. This shouldn't even be a factor of anything. And some parents just don't need children. They don't. Some parents don't need children. Some parents don't need to. It just don't need to have. Some people don't need to be adoptive parents. This should not be going on. That little girl was malnourished. That little girl was abused and wasn't reported missing for a year at 12. She's supposed to start 6th grade. So when school let out, she has been missing. And there were no reports. And this is why people say, people, do you really, when you listen, do you really care about children or no? Do you really care? Or do you just care for people to pop out kids just to keep your economy growing? And that is really the conversation. Or do you really care about a child well-being? Or is it all about making money to pay for the economy to keep it growing so you won't go broke? We have to ask ourselves that. And it's not just putting clothes on their back and food on their table, emotional support. You have to show them and teach them that they have to be respected. If nobody respects them, they need to walk away. They need to be encouraged. All these things ties in being a parent. If your mental ain't right, you already know you're going to take it out on them babies. So that's why people have not in the rate for having children has declined in America, and I do not blame them. I don't. Nobody want to put their kids through something they're not ready for. I want to thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna end this live here. I will be back. Don't forget this afternoon at 3:30, we are doing breast cancer awareness, saving the boobies. We're gonna talk about that. I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys so much. Once I get more information, I'll talk about it. I'm going to talk about the 5-year-old as well. We're going to do that Saturday morning. That is going to be a longer live than this one. And just keep waiting for a crime series to happen. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Roman numeral 7 days, drop it like it's hot. If this world was mine, I'd take your dreams and make them multiply. If this world was mine, I'd take your enemies in front of God.